Hey guys, what's going on? Today's video is going to be on the new QuantX from AlgoPro. I did a video yesterday about this, but I wanted to go through a little bit more detail. I've screenshotted a few things and I've looked at a couple of different tickers, so looking at NQ and CL as well as ES from yesterday. And the more I look at this, the more I like it. But before I get started, I just want to bring to your attention one of my favorite swing trading services at the moment. It's called Stealth Surge Alerts by Roger Scott. I was a skeptic of Roger until I interviewed him and joined his Stealth Surge Alerts program. It's a swing trading system that typically allows the person to hold them for 3 to 5 days, sometimes a little longer. This last one was 10 days. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the description below. You can go there and get access to a free webinar and also more emails from Roger about the service so you can learn more about it. Very quickly though, this is a trade tracker and I can verify that the trades I've seen entered into this are correct and totally legitimate. You can see on the right here the option statistics. So basically alerts both the stock and the option. You get maybe like 2 trades a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. But look at these numbers. So this is just phenomenal. The gains he's had have been 131,000, the losses minus 72,000, for a total profit of 58,000 with a profit factor of 1.81, which is really nice. The stocks have done a little better. You can see the profit factor is 2.19 here, so definitely a little bit better. The win rate has been really high, about 85%, and I really like the service a lot. It's definitely worth checking out. Make sure you check the link in the description below and see if that's something that you'd like to check out. Alright, so let's get started on the video, which is looking at NQ. So we can start with NQ here. So a couple of things that are hard to see. This table is amazing, but it's hard to see. So what I've done is I've screenshotted and put this onto a PowerPoint presentation so you can see more details about this, because this is absolute like gold here, but it's something that like it's hard to show in these YouTube videos. Before we get started with that though, this is the NQ chart. Everything's on the 5 minutes. So this is a day trading futures thing. So if you're looking for something to pass a prop firm challenge with, this could be something worth looking into. So you can see the alerts here. The cool thing is down the bottom, it shows you where the alerts are. So with a glance, you can see how many alerts per day you're getting. So today's the 17th or the 16th. And you can see we've had 2 long alerts so far. Both have been losers. That's just how it is. And I want to talk a bit more detail about the win rate because it's so important, and I actually spoke to the owner of AlgoPro about this, and he came across as very passionate and very genuine about win rate and why you can do well with a low win rate. So we're going to talk about that a lot more in this video as well. But the cool thing is you can take a glance at this even though it's not really worth it because all the information you have is in the table here. So the fact that it's back tested so thoroughly, and you'll see what I mean in a minute, is phenomenal, because a lot of these you're left just looking at, like other programs, you're just left looking at the different signals and trying to figure out if they were winners or not. You can see the little green signs here, 0.35%. That's because I've put a target profit of 0.35% on these contracts into the settings right here. So the settings are quite involved, and we're going to go through those because they're really powerful. This is a powerful system. So let's address the win rate first though, because if we look at the system right here, so like I said, I've copy pasted some stuff here. So we'll actually look at this one first. This is NQ, and that's that little box that you can barely see on YouTube videos that was on the right there. So you can see the stuff that it has here. So first of all, if we look here, you can see that the win rate is only 53%, which puts a lot of people off. We've had 57 trades, 30 have won, 53%. Going down here is more statistics. Then you get a drawdown, so max equity drawdown. This is important when you're looking at potentially trading these with a prop firm because they care about drawdown. So this is really useful information. Of course, you have average monthly return, which is really high. So even though you have a 53% win rate on oil, there's still a 39% monthly return, which seems phenomenal to me. Absolutely phenomenal. Even including this, it must be a compounding number. I'm not sure if I believe the average annual returns, though. I'm going to reach out to the guy that runs AlgoPro and see what this is all about, because these seem really, really ridiculously good to me, especially this ridiculous 5,000% in a year. So here's the cool thing, it gives you the win rate. So the current win rate for this is just under 53%. Obviously this has been rounded up for this number up the top here. But the win rate differential is the difference between what you need to win and if you were break even. So you can see that this is a very important number right here. This win rate needed is only 33%. So the fact that it's 53% means it's profitable, and that's because we have a factor of 2 to 1, so the winners are double the losers. And that's the default setting, by the way. You can change that, and it does change your numbers quite considerably. So you can change this in the settings and make it so you can get a higher win rate, but your monthly percentage might drop. So there's a lot you can change and play with here. So I'm just going to show you a couple examples. The first one is this one on CL. So you can see that we have basically a 52% win rate. The differential is plus 19%. So this is a profitable strategy, even though you're only winning 53% of the time. Now I changed one thing, which is the confluence. So if you go up the top here, you can see I set 6 confluence factors and 7 confluence factors. So just one difference here. Now, as you'd expect, with slightly more confluence factors, just one more, not a lot, you get a slightly higher win rate. So it went from 53 to 58%. Total number of trades went from 57 to 50 though. So you get less trades, which makes sense because with one more confluence factor in there, you're cutting down some of those losing trades, so your win rate goes up and your total trade count comes down. That's important and useful, especially if you're trying to do day trading these on the 5-minute chart, because you don't want 50 bad trades. You want to have quality over quantity. So you want to actually be able to change this confluence factor. So you can do it with 1 or 2. I did it with 6 here, which is the default, and then 7. I'll show you on the chart here where that is. So if you double click on here, it pulls this up. So long signal confluence, you can also do it in the short as well. I just changed the long. Going through the parameter space, changing all of these and checking every single backtesting result would be a pretty monstrous task. So that's why I'm keeping it simple. It just kind of demonstrates how you can change the win rate, how many trades you take, which is important. There's no point in having 50 signals in a day if you can't take them all. You'd rather have fewer signals, and this is in a month, by the way, not a day, these numbers. So you can see these things here. It said elapsed month 1. So it's just back testing for a month and then extrapolating. Now look at this, the average monthly return went from 39% to 44.74% just by changing that one number. Now of course there's a bunch of other factors in here that you can change. You can change things like, if we go here, look at this, you can change the long signal confluence, so you can reduce that if you want more trades. Don't recommend that though, I'd rather have quality over quantity. You can have the breakout or breakdown sensitivity, that also changes the win rate and the number of trades that you get. So you can wait for the strength of a breakout to be higher before you commit to the trade, so that changes the number of trades you'll get, obviously. So you can see how amazingly flexible this system is. You can change your stop losses, and of course this risk reward is that 2 to 1. And actually in the NQ data that I'm about to show you, I did change that from 2 to 1 to 1.6 to 1 to show you the difference of when you change this number. I would show you in real time, but I highly doubt you guys can really read this stuff on the right well enough to make that worthwhile. That's why with NQ I actually took some snapshots. So that's what we were looking at right here. So I guess I thought this was oil, but no, this is NQ. So you can see 2 to 1. So I guess I did it with oil. So if we look at the oil one here, and zoom out a little bit. So yeah, for oil, yeah, if you look at this number right here, what I did is I kept everything else the same and just changed the risk reward. So instead of making double the wins, it only does 1.6 from this one to this one. And you can see that actually in this case, when you tighten the stop loss up, or sorry, reduced your profit target, this makes sense. If you reduced your profit target from 2 to 1 to 1.6 to 1, your win rate went from 6.8% to 10% in a month. And so you can see you got the same number of trades, more or less. You got a higher win rate, 46% instead of 38%, but your profits went up, nearly double, not quite double, but you see right here. So it's just showing the difference between the win rates. Now you can change this to anything you want. You can have 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 1 to 1, 1.1 to 1, whatever you want to do on the back test. And this makes it so easy. And you can see the win rate 30% and 46%. With this data, I haven't changed the other stuff like the confluence factors. I just set this to 6. So obviously it makes a difference. So you can see how powerful this is. Now, like I said, I reached out to the guy who runs AlgoPro, and this guy comes across as really passionate about the system. I don't suppose you guys can read this, but I'll try and summarize it for you. Basically, ranging markets is the single hardest dynamic to approach when developing tools for trading, and we know that because we know that these tools work in trending markets. He says it's extremely hard to find the right balance that addresses every possible outcome in price action, but that's what I'm striving for to crack the code to. But more than just finding keys to address all forms of price action, I also really want to try to ingrain in traders how they should be viewing trading in general. Now, this is a really important thing, and I think this is what separates a lot of people from being profitable and not being profitable. And so he even says things here. One of the main things that has led me to this approach is that we've noticed a lot of alarming psychological behavior patterns with how the majority of traders approach the market today. And I've seen this with a lot of traders within the AlgoPro community. So this is where he started to talk about long-term success in trading. And he says the human brain is wired to seek immediate rewards, and winning trades offer that dopamine rush that reinforces the belief that winning frequently equates to success. And if you guys know Alan from my Discord group, Sidekick Traders, he talks about this a lot too. And I totally agree with both these guys on this. So he says traders naturally gravitate towards strategies that provide this psychological comfort, believing that they have a win rate of 70%, 80%, or even higher, that they are definitely on the path to guaranteed profits. While this might seem logical on the surface, it's an extremely flawed approach when viewed through the lens of math and probability in trading, which is very interesting. And you know, it's better to have a 2-to-1 win rate and actually be profitable than a 90% win rate and just lose money. And that's why he's built this system the way he has. He says, I want to push hard on going forward without a clear sense of how much you're risking to potential rewards. Win rate alone is incomplete. It's an incomplete metric. Just look at the majority of institutional traders. Rarely do they aim for win rates over 50%. They're trading setups with a substantial risk versus reward, looking to win just 50%, 40%, or even just 30% of their trades because they know how to manage that risk. And that's what this new QuantX really does, from what I can see. And he says that's what leads to long-term trading success. Traders have to be comfortable losing trades. Win rate only becomes meaningful when you understand and define your risk. This is what's really most important in your trading setup. And that's what he says he's trying to do with QuantX. And I think he's doing a fantastic job doing that. I really do. From what I just showed you, you can change these risk reward setups. So, 2-to-1 is actually the default here. And he says where you need to win 33% of your trades. So if you have a 2-to-1 risk factor, then you only need to win 33% of your trades to break even. And if you have a 43% win rate here, so it's a plus 10% differential, and he gives that number, remember, down here, win rate differential plus 4%, win rate differential plus 7%. So he gives that number so that you know what you're in for, at least with the back testing. So I thought this was really interesting. I think he comes across as really passionate about changing how these algos are run. And that's a huge step in the right direction, in my opinion. Rather than just having something like a crackhead day trading system that just keeps alerting false signal after false signal, he's going for something that's really high quality and lower in quantity and gives you that tunability in order to come up with strategies that you can handle. So maybe you're not somebody who can handle a 40% win rate, or just you cannot stick to it because you get a few losing trades in a row and then you give up or you switch to something else. Well, you can change this to give you a slightly higher win rate, even if it means sacrificing overall profits. As long as you can stick to it, that's a good thing. And that's where this whole idea of being able to tune the different trades really comes into its own, where you can tune this and look at this back testing thing and say, okay, I don't mind a 50 or 60% win rate, even if it's slightly less profitable than if I do 40%, because I know I can't handle a 40% win rate. Psychologically, I would struggle with that. I'm guessing a lot of people would struggle with a 40% win rate, even if it's more profitable. So this gives you the ability to fine tune as best as we can, to fine tune these trades on the QuantX part of this program. Now remember, if you're new to AlgoPro, you can buy this in the link in the description below. I'll put it down there for you. Remember, you don't just get this QuantX. This is just one of the new additions. So you get all these other AlgoPro version 1.4, 1.3, 1.2, supporting resistance, all this other stuff. The QuantX is just the new system, which is designed specifically for the 5-minute chart day trading, NQ, CL, ES, all the future stuff. So if you're looking to pass some prop firm challenges, I would say this is a really fantastic place to start. Hopefully I've made that clear enough. There's a lot of stuff to digest here. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and enjoy the rest of your day.